So I'm going to preface this really quickly and just say, hello, my name is Meg Wolensky. My pronouns are she or they. And I always, thank you, babe. I always like to start whenever I'm doing a public speaking event, just by checking in with everybody. So I want to ask, is everybody physically comfortable? Just know if you're not comfortable, it's okay to get up and move around. If you'd like to get up and look at the work while I'm talking, that's totally fine. If you need to, if you're standing and you want to sit, that's fine. I might need to do that. And I just want to welcome everybody else to that as well. Big on accessibility. Two, I think it's unlikely to hear no, but can everybody hear me? Okay. Love. I work with kids. So if you can't hear me, I always tell them to go like this. So they don't have to say like, you know, Mix Meg, we can't hear you. And then the last thing I want to let everybody know is that there will be, just want to give like a trigger warning about this presentation. There will be mention made of abuse, assault. There will be a lot of lightheartedness to the way that this presentation is constructed to sort of like bring us up from some of these heavier topics. But I wanted to let anyone know if that is going to be triggering for you. If you would rather not hear that, you can feel free to get up now or during the presentation is totally fine. I'm not going to be offended. I'm going to be like, yes, go you. I wish I could too. But anyway, so my name is Meg. I'm a still life painter building cryptic still lives, secret little love notes nestled in chromatic elements that hold the whole thing together. I'm the whole thing. My paintings are alchemical tinctures that capture the movement of queerness, fluxing between various identities, genders, relationships, and states of being. I paint as a healing practice to explore reconciliation of trauma as it stands opposed to the freedom and joy of queer autonomy. I'm a queer non-binary artist living with complex post-traumatic stress disorder or CPTSD, which we will get to in just a second. This is all work from when I was an undergrad, and just know the options at my school, which I also went to PAFA, but like 10 years ago, it was like you were going to make work that was inspired by one of 3 male professors, and that was it. Is that a goose? I do apologize. Anyway, so just know also there are some memes sprinkled throughout this presentation, which I love memes. I love internet culture. I'm thinking about internet culture a lot of the time that I'm making work in terms of like composition, in terms of the vulnerability that people have to just sort of like put their shit out there, and that like something can be really serious and really funny at the same time. Anyway, after I graduated, I figured out I'm a non-binary type. Wow. So we love this meme. That's very relatable. But this was, I started on sort of like an arc of work that was, it was about being in love with a non-man for the first time. So there's going to be a lot of work in this presentation that's about that. This particular piece, I do apologize. The color on here is 2 thumbs down. But if you want to see it, you can see it on my Instagram or on my website. Most of my work incorporates some elements of hot pink. I love rediscovering my relationship with pink as a femme, high femme even. That last piece was called Fixing Something That's Not Broken, and it was about me coming out to my family. This piece is called Fever Dream, and it was this moment where I was exploring my sexuality in a way that I felt so affirmed for the first time, but there was like something a little bit wrong, as does happen in some of our first authentic relationships. Maybe you're with somebody who is an abuser. And I was thinking really hard about that. This piece, in fact, is called Thinking About It, because I was really confused about what was going on in my life. This piece is actually in this exhibition, and these are all secret little love notes that my partner at the time gave me. Okay, but that was so sweet, but I was in an abusive relationship, so it kind of like negated that. Anyway, this piece is called Premonition. It changed, but that premonition, that feeling that something's wrong is what that piece was about. Anyway, I ended up in therapy, as we do. I did some hard self-reflection. This was actually at a moment where I was trying death as a self-portrait. I was trying desperately to get out of my situation. I was doing a lot of hard work to do so. This piece is two magpies fighting. They're two beautiful creatures, but they're hurting each other. And actually the background colors were inspired by a piece at like the Carnegie Museum of an owl hunting its prey. These were some pieces that I made to recover from that situation. It's also when I received a CPTSD diagnosis, which occurs in response to a series of traumatic events. It's sort of like a lifelong situation, or it can be just a moment of time that really, changes the way that your brain chemistry works. So my work affirms my identities and addresses the unfurling aftermath of my diagnosis. I believe that art making can act as a process of healing and self-discovery. My work is a way for me to connect to my true self and reclaim joy from pain. I draw together chromatic hope and contrasting devastation by delving the shards of traumatic memory, fitting them into the kaleidoscope of my affirming present day experiences. Through paint, my past, present, dreams, and memories live in one cohesive whole. Through paint, I reconstruct a home in which my whole identity, even what's broken, is welcome. I explore queer identity, memory, and the boundaries between the physical and emotional worlds that we live in. Some objects are like a portal back in time into a specific moment with a specific person or a specific place. I'm constantly reimagining what healing looks like as I grow, always moving, never stagnant. I'm often taking on abstract forms that can be interpreted in multiple ways. I'm really just like responding to what's happening around me. My work kind of straddles the line between conceptual practice and then what I would call art therapy craft. There have been moments where I thought, is this work too self-indulgent? But I think the work, it's like the ultimate tool to keep me alive, because I have to be here to deconstruct it for everybody and translate what it is that I'm doing. In a way, I'm tattling on my abusers to myself just to know it was real. I'm just like, did that happen to me? Did that really happen to me? And my paintings answered, yes, it did. They're always there. But that being said, as I move into new parts of my life as a more healed person, my newer work has sort of taken on, it's reconciling like the joy of life, like the joy of a healthy relationship, the joy of queer autonomy, the joy of being out to my family, the joy of escaping a lineage of abusers, truly, and redefining what my life is for me. So it's okay if it's a little self-indulgent. It's okay if it's a little Lisa Frank. That's what brings me joy. And really, ultimately, the work is about growth. I can look back and see sort of like the chapters of my life. And I could say authentically today that the work is really for me. One thing that I will say is that this particular piece that's right back here, the figurative piece, this is the first time that this piece has ever been exhibited. When I made it, it was of an abuser who forbade me from having it show. So it feels like an act of defiance to exhibit some of this work, but yeah, it's so fun to like look back at everything and just think of like how much more my life is now. And these are some of my favorite names. Especially this one. I'm sure my fellow folks know this feeling. But anyway, that's a little about me. So thank you.
This show is in memory and in collaboration with the Dina Wind Foundation, which is very close to my heart, because before Dina was diagnosed with cancer, we had been talking about exhibiting our work. Juliet, our development director, came up with this idea of how do we sort of embrace, some artists that are underseen and under-recognized. And so we're really trying to figure out how we could be more dynamic, more accessible, more meaningful, and how we could actually honor Dina. And we really thought by creating this fellowship, it would be a nice way of supporting artists that need a little more support, a little more help. And also one of the reasons why I started InLiquid was having gone to art school in New York and not having mentors or supporters here. When I moved back to Philadelphia, I was a fish out of water. No one knew who I was. I had family, friends from high school, but no support system. And after you graduate school, you have no place to show your work. We need to support our artists in a better way. So I want to welcome all of you to being part of our community, and take advantage of it and reach out to us if you need or help. We know a lot of people in the city. We can't promise anything, but we'll do our best job to be good, nurturers. And I want to introduce my friend and my co-conspirator, Jungmin Wind.
Hello, thanks, Rachel. Thank you, Sarah, Juliet, Rachel, Claire, the whole InLiquid team. This is really a gratifying experience because we get to make a difference, touch a bunch of artists' lives, and offer something that just wasn't there before for all the reasons that Rachel mentioned. And the connection with my mom, she started as a serious artist kind of late. She had a family, and as my brother and I were in high school and moving out of the house, that's when she really leaned into her art making. And she was kind of a maverick. She learned how to weld. She could have welded bridges, like she got a diploma in welding, serious industrial welding, but she chose to apply it to art. And she always identified with young artists and with women and with kind of the underdog, and just focused on making the work and the quality of the work. So she would have loved this program and the opportunities and connecting with a new generation of young artists. This year, the fact that it's mostly female artists, that would have been close to her heart as well. So congratulations to all of you. And I can't wait to hear what you have to say. And thanks InLiquid for the opportunity.